January in Los Angeles. Wildfire season. The air is thick with tension and the scent of smoke, and every local knows to keep an eye on the horizon for that telltale orange glow. It's a time when the city feels on edge, waiting for the next emergency alert to buzz through. My mom, Lisa Bonet, lives in Topanga Canyon, a bohemian paradise that's basically a tinderbox. The hills are beautiful, wild, and dry as kindling. One spark and the whole place could go up in flames. It's the kind of spot where artists and dreamers live, but also where you learn to pack a go bag just in case. When evacuation orders hit, we had to grab essentials and run. There's no time to think, just a mad dash through the house, hearts pounding, adrenaline surging. The world outside is turning orange and gray, and you can hear sirens echoing through the canyon. You'd think that means photos, documents, maybe jewelry, the things you can't replace, the memories and proof of who you are. Everyone has their own idea of what's truly essential when the clock is ticking, but my mom's top priority? Orpheus, her pet snake. Not the family albums, not her favorite painting. Nope, it's the snake she's worried about most. So as smoke filled the air, we're packing bags and she's gently tucking Orpheus into his travel carrier. She's talking to him softly, promising he'll be safe, while I'm frantically trying to remember if I packed my charger or just a handful of socks. Disaster movie energy, but with a quirky twist. Imagine the chaos of a blockbuster evacuation, but instead of a dog or a cat, we're carrying a snake in a box, and my mom is treating him like royalty. I'm panicking about underwear, she's whispering to a snake. It's a surreal moment. Me, elbow deep in laundry, her cooing at Orpheus like he's a baby. We needed a place to stay, fast. I called Swift, because when your world is literally on fire, you call the most reliable friend you know, even if she's a global superstar. Taylor, being Taylor, welcomed us with open arms. She probably expected suitcases, not a snake. But she didn't even blink, just smiled and told us to make ourselves at home. I figured we'd keep Orpheus hidden. How much trouble could one snake be? Famous last words. I was already rehearsing my apology in case he slithered out at the wrong moment. I had no idea this act of kindness would turn into the most expensive, embarrassing hotel stay of my life. Between the stress, the snake, and the luxury digs, it was a recipe for disaster. The universe was definitely laughing at me. Sometimes you just have to laugh along, even when you're the punchline. We were safe, but the real chaos was just beginning. The fire was behind us, but ahead, a snake, a superstar, and a story we'd never forget. And Orpheus? He was just getting started. Little did we know our wildest adventure was only beginning. Taylor's house is a fairy tale. Grand, cozy, and so perfect you're afraid to breathe. Every corner looks like it was designed for a magazine cover, with sunlight streaming through windows and the faint scent of vanilla in the air. It's the kind of place where you feel like you should tiptoe just in case you disturb the magic. My mom and I, two wildfire refugees plus a snake in a box, tried to be the best house guests ever. We arrived with our lives packed into suitcases, grateful for shelter but nervous about fitting into this world of elegance and order. We cleaned, we whispered, and we tiptoed around as if the floors might shatter beneath our feet. Every sound felt amplified, so we tried to be invisible. We used coasters on top of coasters, terrified of leaving even the faintest ring on Taylor's perfect tables. I even started carrying a coaster in my pocket, just in case. I was determined to leave the place better than we found it. Every pillow was fluffed, every counter gleamed, and I double-checked every room before bed. But we had a secret. Orpheus, hidden in his carrier in the bathroom. He was our stowaway, our silent accomplice, and the one thing that didn't belong in this storybook setting. Every time I saw that box, my anxiety spiked. It felt like we were hiding a fugitive, and I half expected the snake to start singing Bad Blood just to blow our cover. For 2 weeks we kept up the act, watching the news, feeling grateful, and pretending we weren't harboring a reptile. We smiled, we nodded, and we tried to act like everything was normal, even though we were always on edge. We were model guests. I started to think we'd actually pull it off. Maybe we could survive this evacuation, keep Orpheus a secret, and leave Taylor's home even more spotless than before. Survive the evacuation, keep the snake a secret, and return Taylor's home in pristine condition. I was almost proud. For a moment I let myself believe we'd managed the impossible. But pride comes before a fall. And in a house this perfect, even the smallest mistake feels enormous. Or in my case, before a snake disappears into a wall. One second, Orpheus was there. The next, he was gone, vanished into the labyrinth of pipes and plaster. The perfect houseguest streak was about to end. I should have known better. Orpheus had other plans, and suddenly we were no longer just guests. We were accomplices in a reptilian escape. The secret was about to slither out. Our carefully constructed calm was unraveling, and panic was setting in. And it would cost us, big time. In that moment I realized that sometimes, no matter how hard you try to fit in, chaos has a way of finding you. Living with a secret snake changes everything. Suddenly, every ordinary moment in your home is tinged with suspense. You're always aware, always on edge, because you never know where he might be lurking next. Orpheus wasn't just a pet. He was a silent, slithering wildcard, and our lives revolved around his unpredictable moods. The bathroom became Orpheus's lair. It was the one place he seemed to feel truly at home, coiled up in the warmth, blending in with the tiles. Every visit, I'd silently beg him, please don't escape. I'd tiptoe in, scanning every corner, heart thumping, hoping he'd still be there and not plotting his next great escape. Please don't ruin my life. The fear was real. One wrong move and everything could spiral out of control. My mom, meanwhile, let him out for exercise. She believed he needed to stretch, to explore, to feel free, even if it meant risking total chaos. She'd sit on the floor, watching him slither around completely at peace, as if this was the most natural thing in the world. I stood guard, heart pounding, ready to block any escape attempt. My job was to be the human barricade, the last line of defense between Orpheus and disaster. The bathroom was a designer masterpiece. Gorgeous tile, elegant fixtures, a custom wooden banquette. It was the kind of place you'd see in a magazine, not a snake's playground. And we were letting a snake crawl all over it. Every time he moved, I imagined tiny scales scratching the marble, leaving invisible trails of anxiety behind. On our last day, the fires were contained. The air was finally clear, and for the first time in days, we could breathe easy. We were packing up, ready to go home. Relief was in the air, mixed with exhaustion and a strange sense of accomplishment. My mom wanted to give Orpheus one last stroll. She said he deserved a final adventure before we left. For a split second, we were distracted. That's all it took. A phone buzzed, a suitcase zipper jammed, and our attention slipped. Orpheus saw his chance and bolted. He moved faster than I'd ever seen, a blur of scales and determination. He shot toward a tiny hole by the banquette, a snake-sized portal to disaster. Panic hit instantly. In that moment, time slowed down, and every muscle in my body tensed. My mom lunged, grabbing his tail as his head disappeared into the wall. It was a desperate split-second decision, one that would decide everything. Now we had a new problem, a high-stakes tug-of-war with a snake halfway inside Taylor Swift's house. I froze, horrified, unable to move or even breathe. This was not in the house guest manual. The snake was winning. Every second felt like an eternity, and the stakes had never been higher, and my life was about to unravel. In that moment, surrounded by luxury and chaos, I realized just how quickly everything can slip out of your control. Orpheus vanished in a flash, aiming straight for that tiny hole. My mom grabbed his tail just in time, but he was determined to disappear. The panic was real. Visions of a snake haunting Taylor's house forever. Headlines flashed in my mind. Taylor Swift's house guest unleashes snake. My mom clung to his tail, but he was strong, wriggling deeper into the wall. I stood there, useless, watching my mom lose a tug-of-war with her own pet. There's no guide for this. All I could think was, this is the dumbest way my life has ever fallen apart. We were losing him, inch by inch. The snake was almost gone. We were out of options. I realized we needed help, fast. The situation was spiraling. I had to act. Orpheus was seconds from vanishing for good, and I was seconds from a total meltdown. My mom was on the floor, death gripping Orpheus's tail, the snake pulling with all his might. I finally snapped out of it and dropped to help, but there was nothing to grab. He was almost gone, part of the house now. We whispered frantically, terrified Taylor would walk in. "We can't let go," my mom said, straining, but we couldn't hold on forever. I racked my brain for solutions, lure him with food, frozen mice, no luck. The snake was winning, my mom's grip slipping. We were about to lose him, and face the ultimate houseguest nightmare. I pictured telling Taylor, "We lost a snake in your walls." There's a limit to friendship, and this was it. I was preparing for exile from her squad. The dread was overwhelming. We were out of time. I knew what I had to do. We needed backup. This was beyond us. It was time to call for help. I ran for help and found Taylor's house manager. "There's a snake in the wall, my mom has the tail, we need help," I blurted. He didn't flinch, just grabbed a crowbar. That's when I knew things were about to get real. The dream of being the perfect house guest? Dead. The house manager pried up the beautiful banquette, splintering wood echoing through the house. My mom held on, our anchor in the chaos. The banquette came off in pieces, but Orpheus was still deeper inside. Next, the tiles, cracking, shattering, falling in a sad pile. The walls got scratched, the bathroom destroyed. We were a rogue demolition crew, all for one stubborn snake. It was madness. My security deposit? Gone. My friendship? Hanging by a thread. But we weren't stopping. We had to get that snake. Amid the chaos, I realized, destroy the bathroom or confess to losing a snake in Taylor Swift's house. A bathroom can be fixed. A lost snake? That's a horror movie. I chose destruction. "Keep going! Get him out!" I cheered. My mom, the silent warrior, clung to the tail. The house manager, our knight, wielded his crowbar. We were united by one goal, get the snake. My reputation was already toast. What was a little more damage? Finally, after endless ripping and smashing, we saw him. Orpheus, coiled inside the wall, finally within reach. Relief washed over us. The end was in sight. We'd wrecked the place, but we were about to win. The sight of that snake was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. The battle was almost over. We got him. The house manager reached in and pulled Orpheus out. My mom let go, hands cramped and shaking. We sat on the floor, covered in dust, clutching the snake like a trophy. The bathroom looked like a war zone. Relief quickly turned to shame. I'd destroyed my friend's home after she'd saved us. I begged the house manager, "Please don't tell Taylor until I can fix this. I'll pay for everything." My plan? Hire the fastest, most discreet contractors and hope Taylor never found out. We packed up, triple-checking Orpheus's carrier. As we drove away, dread settled in. I had a secret, a demolished bathroom and a massive repair bill. I was living a lie. And I knew the truth would come out. There was no way I'd get away with it. The guilt was crushing. The story wasn't over. The real reckoning was still to come. I spent days in a panic, trying to coordinate secret repairs and dodging Taylor's calls. But life doesn't let you hide. My phone rang. It was Taylor. My heart stopped. This was it. I tried to confess, but she cut me off, already laughing. "Is it about the snake in the bathroom?" she said. She knew everything. The house manager had told her. I braced for anger, but she was just relieved we were safe, and that Orpheus was okay. She thought it was hilarious. Only Taylor Swift could react to a demolished bathroom with grace and humor. It became a funny story, an expensive one for me, but funny. I told it on late-night TV. Seth Meyers joked Orpheus would inspire 3 songs. Lesson learned? If you're a house guest, maybe leave your snake at home, or at least check for holes in the walls. Taylor's friendship survived. The bathroom got fixed. And Orpheus, he's never been invited back.